Hello. I think we are probably going to be live now. I've clicked start streaming, should I say, in OBS. Let me just check my YouTube backend. I think that's working. I can see that we are currently live, although the delay is insane. But I think we are ready to go. So yeah, today I thought I'd jump on to do a quick live to talk about God of War Ragnarok on the Steam Deck and just show off a bit of gameplay. As you can see, I'm at probably the very start of the game. Considered the very start of the game. I've not done much at all. An hour, maybe two. Just defeated a centaur called the Hunter. And as you can see, the game is currently running at 55, 53, in the mid-50s FPS, which is pretty good. It feels nice and smooth. I am playing on a controller, just a traditional Xbox controller, and we are capturing all of the gameplay using this, which I'm sorry you cannot see that. There you go, that's better. It's the AverMedia GC515 X'TRA GO. It's a little dock for portable devices like Steam Decks, all of the other handheld ROG Ally, the Legion Go, the Lenovo one, and then iPads and Android tablets and things like that. So we are capturing on there, and this is how it's going at the moment. If I just jumped into the settings to showcase those first, because these could potentially change throughout the stream. Graphics and camera. Then sorry, just got a text. Right, my display mode is at full screen. My resolution is at 848 by 472, but there's a reason for that in a moment. VSync is off, aspect ratio at auto, frame rate limit at off, frame generation at off. I've not tested much with this switched on. Scaling method, AMD FSR 3.1, which is why the resolution is down at 848 by 472, and on a quality mode as well. Although you have got the choice of things like native if you wanted that 1280 by 720. Just to look at the top left now, in terms of FPS, that has dropped down to 37, but if I did change that to quality, it goes up to 48, 49-ish in the menu. My preset at the moment is at custom, so textures and models at medium, anisotropic filter at low, lighting at medium, shadows at low, reflections, atmospherics at low, ambient occlusion at medium, and tessellation at medium as well. Screen calibration I've not done, film grain and motion blur switched off, and everything is just to do with speed. There's nothing else. Text and color, I've kept everything on default at the moment, although one thing I have noticed, because it is the lower resolution, sometimes the prompts that come up, like if you need to click LB for example, it does look a little bit blurry. You'll see that if we get one of those quick time events in this game or in this live stream, then yeah, you'll see that, but everything else is pretty much
damaged it, but now
perhaps the dwarf
pretty much
should take a look at it.
all ready to go.
perhaps later.
So we have just finished off, as I said, fighting the Hunter just down there. We were getting a pretty solid 50 FPS all the way through, which I thought was pretty decent.
Do you remember all those shrines?
The game also of Ragnarok has also recently just been established as a
Found many. I have
what
seen
do you
them.
call it? The Steam Deck verified, a Steam Deck verified game. So it has got that going for it, and the first one, of course, was pretty decent on the Steam Deck as well. So there's no real reason why this one shouldn't be. Okay, so we did just notice a little bit of stutter there as we were coming, but I think that was more to do with loading as opposed to anything to do graphically. Why have I been sent down here? They're not those bugs or anything? I don't think so. Is it just an off the beaten path type thing. I think it's just an off the beaten path type of way to go. Okay, so let's just dive into the settings again. Let's start messing around with some graphics. Let's keep the AMD FSR switched on. Oh, just to run through as well, if you haven't seen, the only thing I have got switched on here is the frame rate limit, but we're not getting anywhere near 60 anyway, so whether that's disabled or not, it's going to make no difference at all. And yeah, no scaling mode on there as well. One thing I have noticed is if I do go up to use, say, FSR in the performance menu, my FPS does go down to 34, 33 at the moment, so I have kept that switched off. No idea why that goes down, but yeah, that's why. So right, let's get some textures up. And reflections, I don't think. Shadows, I don't think really makes much of a difference. Should we stick the models on high as well? See if that's going to keep. See if that's going to be a smooth experience, and then the lighting on medium. But as you can see from the preview on the right there, you're not getting a massive difference anyway. Maybe if fire starts to appear on screen a little bit more. I don't know. Let's try that anyway. See where we're at. If we're still in the 50s, which it looks to be like we are. Atreus is going over there, so of course let's go off the beaten path to go and find some treasure. And there's a chest. Again, in very dark areas, we're still hitting that 60.
How do you always know how to find those?
That 60 FPS. So again, it's not doing too badly. Although when we do get back outside, there's a bit of fog.
Pillar is new, but the shrine is just on the other side.
Dip back down to the 40s, but that's not too bad either.
That should help.
That should help.
Things collapsing on a regular basis in these parts.
Fimbulwinter wears down all things, even stone.
Did something give? Over on the right?
Yes, it did. I did notice a little bit of stutter there.
There we go. Come on.
We can't go that way. There was a little bit of stutter down to the 40s, but I don't know if that's due to loading as opposed to graphic. Oh, that was stuttery jumping over there as well, but the frame rate didn't drop. Maybe it's to do with loading as opposed to actually dropping frames. The CPU is at 80%, the GPU is at 99%. The Steam Deck is hot, I would say. It's kicking out. Yeah, it's kicking out a decent amount of air, which is okay. It's expected.
Well, that's new.
It's not actually hot. It's just kicking out a lot of air. The fans are working, but this is the OLED version of the Steam Deck. So do bear that in mind as well when watching this video, because of course the specification of the OLED is slightly higher than what you get with the standard Steam Deck. But even still, I shouldn't imagine this game being really too
Where are we?
Somewhere only giants were meant to see.
hard to
These shrines tell their stories to
run
the world.
on an original
But
Steam
it turns
Deck.
out the real stories, the secret stories, those they kept here.
So as a reminder, jumping back into the settings, we are currently, everything at the top was exactly the same still at FSR 3.1 quality, but we are at high textures and models, anisotropic filter at medium, lighting at medium, shadows, reflections, and atmospherics at low. Setting that to medium, I wonder if that's going to do much. Ambient occlusion, tessellation. At this point, really, we should be running a medium. What do you call it? A medium graphical preset, because that FSR is really
the wolf giants?
taking.
Odin captured them because he thinks it'll help him control when Ragnarok
Is doing a lot.
I remember.
But playing at the
That's not the
resolution
whole
we're playing on
story.
at the moment, especially on a
See,
screen the size of the
this
Steam
shows
Deck,
the
it's not going
giant
to be
setting
too
skull
bad
and
at
how
all.
you free.
They're free. Is this the past or the future?
Depends when you're looking at it.
Spoken like a giant.
See? The wolves are safe. Somewhere in Vanaheim.
Not the first place Odin would look, I suppose.
There they are, chasing the sun and moon.
Old habits.
Until, look, the moon gets stolen. Somehow.
Atreus.
See? Hati's got nothing to chase.
And they say celestial theft is a victimless crime.
Not totally sure who this is, but someone comes along and rescues the moon. And then, the moon blocks out the sun.
A total eclipse. I haven't seen one of those in 100 winters.
But then they chase an arrow, and things go back to normal.
So still collecting 60
What does
FPS,
any of this have
or
to
near
do
about to
with
just drop then as soon as I started talking. It was pretty decent. Everything looks very, very smooth, to be honest with you.
Here's Ragnarok. Do you see who's leading the armies against Odin? That's Tyr. If he's gonna be around at Ragnarok, that means he's gotta be alive. Right?
Mimir, can this be?
Odin told me he killed Tyr.
But
I
again,
trusted
being
me
at
the
50
time.
FPS, it's
Or so I
not a
thought.
bad experience
he
at all.
didn't
Okay,
kill
it's
him?
just dropped down to the
What if he's just had
49.
him locked up somewhere all this time?
We are back to ifs. Enough.
Wait,
But really,
We
it's
are
not
going
bad.
home.
It's not a bad
Wait.
experience at
I have
all, to
one
be
more
honest
thing
with
to
you.
show
It's
you.
quite nice.
it's just out here.
So jumping back into the snow, the FPS has dropped, and I have noticed that if it is a cutscene like this, then the FPS does
Everything I
drop
found.
down a little bit further
Oh,
as
almost
well.
everything.
As you can see, we are closer to now the 40s. Again, still playable, especially if it's a cutscene. You're not needing a high frame rate to hit
Crash,
those
giant
split-second
crash.
reactions for like things like your parry.
Jotunheim
You're
again.
watching a film, essentially,
No,
or you're watching
I
a
found it in one of the
movie.
other
But
shrines.
Others, right?
But yeah, dropping down to 40s. I think this game looks absolutely wicked as well on
Well,
on a Steam Deck.
all of them?
Personally,
All the ones I could still get to in Midgard anyway. I don't know what it is, but it's important. Just like all this. When I was inside one of the shrines, I saw an image of Tyr imprisoned, but I couldn't tell where. There are hints inside the other shrines. You mention black smoke and the bleeding earth, but we could never figure out exactly.
we could never
Sindri's
figure out.
helping me. Look, I talked him into it. It wasn't his idea. I just needed someone to watch my back.
Black smoke. Bleeding earth. Could the prison be in Muspelheim?
Unlikely. Odin's got no presence to speak of in the primordial realms. But the bleeding earth? Sounds like a mine, aye.
The realm of the dwarves, perhaps.
Svartalfheim, that's a good bet. Their mines did belch black smoke, and Odin's had his thumb on the dwarves for a very long time.
That's it then. Tyr's in Svartalfheim somewhere, imprisoned in a mine. So, what now?
Home.
Home again. Back to the poxy.
Lad, even
The
if we
Foxy,
consider
what do you call
looking
it?
for Tyr, how do you have us get into
Okay, so now
Svartalfheim?
I've turned up those
You know
settings.
Odin's had all travel
We
between
are.
realms
We have
locked up
dropped.
tight.
Sindri said he
I
had
don't
an
know,
idea
maybe
about that.
5 to 8
Full of
FPS, something like
ideas.
that. It's not feeling it as smooth as it was. So if we did jump back into the settings menu, where were we before. Let's get that lighted down to low. Atmospherics down to low. Let's get them chucked on medium. Well, no, actually, textures I quite like being at high. That didn't make much of a difference before. Models is a big one. Maybe not actually, because they don't appear as often. Let's give that a try. See if that's made much difference. So we're hitting it again around the same, but it's feeling smoother. Back up to the 50s. Fire does look a little bit ropey. It just doesn't look very crisp. I must say, if you are using that FSR, it just doesn't look very crisp. I wonder if putting that lighting back up to medium is going to make any kind of difference. I'm not too sure. Even maybe atmospherics. So we are creeping back down now to really the late 30s, early 40s. It is creeping up from time to time, but it's still not feeling anywhere near as smooth as it was before. But maybe again that's because things. Well, I don't know. We're back up to the 50s. There is a shortcut this way, but how am I supposed to get down there? Oh, I know.
Remember when we fought our first troll out this way?
I remember you lost control.
We must tread carefully, brother. Danger is close.
You okay fighting without a shield?
It is not my first time.
Are we just doing a circle, or is this going to reveal a chest? It's going to reveal a chest. Go off the beaten path in this game and you're always going to find a chest. Also, if you are watching, any ideas on what we could do to the graphic settings, if you have been watching other content on YouTube, let me know, because it is interesting to hear what other people have experienced or what they are doing when it comes to the quality of their games. Unfortunately, though, it is stuttering a little bit too much for my liking, so I am going to knock down the models and the textures back down to medium. Not that I think it makes a huge difference being on high or medium anyway. I mean, what are we really looking at? There's not a real noticeable difference that I can see. So we've knocked everything back down to medium. It is feeling somewhat smoother, hitting again those late 40s, but in terms of the use with the controller, it's still feeling relatively nice. Actually, let's go back up, because I want to... Where's that hole in the floor? Can we do this?
What's under there, you
Ah, back to smashing through things for fun and profit. Lovely.
Maria, what did you hear of Odin's offer?
To the lad? Not much. They stepped outside. But he told us about it. I wouldn't worry.
What about the things he did not tell us?
It'll also be interesting to see other parts of the game as well, of course. Take all of this with a pinch of salt, that it's one section of the game. It's not reflective on anything else, really. Okay, so now we are in a little bit of combat. It has gone back down to sort of the mid-40s. So running around was nice, although it still doesn't. It still doesn't feel like it's causing much of an issue.
Brother, there's no blocking without your shield.
It still feels quite responsive playing with my Xbox controller at the moment. That's not too bad.
Almost home.
Brother, a word. Don't hold the lad's curiosity against him. It goes with being young.
In my youth, we learned obedience.
And is that what you wish for him? Brother, he's going to walk his own path. If you don't want him walking away from you, then smarten up and walk with him a while.
If we could find a way to open roam travel to Svartalfheim, I bet there'd be all sorts of useful equipment for us to...
Enough.
See, it's not in this section. This section's probably the first section
You will abandon your search.
that I've noticed
For good.
not looking great.
You won't be sorry.
So if we go back down to our settings, what if we went back to a native FSR? But again, I can already see that the FPS is just completely tanked. It's looking sharper, don't get me wrong, but is that worth it for the sacrifice of that 10 or 15 FPS? I don't think it is at all. I'd rather stick that at quality, but then I wonder if we look at 30, is that going to provide a better experience? It's not so much when you're standing still. Well, it is actually. The shakiness of the camera, the shakiness effect, just gives it a bit of a hazy feeling. But that's probably because, let's get that switched off. I don't think that makes a massive difference at all. That's because of the FSR. But if we have any, we don't really have any kind of sharpening. Although we can use the Steam Deck performance menu, but we've already seen if we turn on FSR there, it lowers the FPS. So if we get, say, models and textures back up to high, is that going to sort out? Yeah, maybe so for the things up close slightly, but as soon as you start getting further away, I mean, that tree, it just starts to look, that doesn't start to look very good. But I think that's really the best we're gonna, is that going to be the best we're going to get? I think it's going to be until you get closer and things start to look a little bit sharper. Because, to be honest with you, I'd rather play with a lesser quality if the frame rate is going to be larger. Especially with a game like this where you have to rely on timing your dodges, timing your parries and blocks and that kind of thing. But for the most part, I mean, I'm playing it on a big screen here. Of course, the resolution isn't going to look great. I'm on a 1440p monitor, playing the game at whatever 8 7 by 400 something, it's not going to look good anyway. But on a 10-inch screen deck, Steam Deck screen,
Is that
it's
It's been so long. How you've grown.
it's gonna look. I think it's gonna look a lot nicer.
Well,
Of course, I haven't done much testing that.
You needed somewhere safe to spend the night, and I believe your favorite dwarves can help you out with that. We're still your favorite dwarves, right?
You're still the only dwarves we know.
But I think I'm actually quite happy with the performance. Hold on a minute. We just did a huge
After
loop
you, my friends.
chasing after Atreus in this section, when we could have literally just walked out the back of our house. Doesn't make much sense. Anyway,
Where are we going?
The cleanest cabin in all.
but yeah,
the
hitting
realms.
that just
And
under
I prefer to stay
just
that
under 60 here at the moment, hitting 56, 58, 55. Not too bad. Combat again, it's pretty smooth.
You can figure out your next move.
I'm definitely a fan of how this performs on the Steam Deck, and it's so good that it's been Steam Deck verified as well, so you know that it's going to be a nice solid experience if you are going to want to play God of War on the go on a handheld. If you've not played it before, I haven't played this before because I haven't got a PS5, so this is the first time I'm experiencing this game. And for the most part on a Steam Deck, it's a decent one. What was that? Yeah, it's a decent one. I like it.
As you can see, we've settled here in the realm between realms. It's nothing much, but it's safe from Fimbulwinter, safe from Odin's eyes. And you really can't beat the view if you're into shimmering gray voids.
Okay, so now we're out of the snow. We have dropped down to the 40s.
Intriguing.
But again, I think it's more to do with loading than FPS lag, because the recovery rate seems pretty decent.
Come in. Come in. Now, if you would just wipe your feet very thoroughly, I'll wait.
Oh, wait.
You're not gonna wipe your feet, are you? Okay then. If your bedrooms are there, the kitchen is just over there. Anybody need a snack? Kratos? Snack?
I do not need a snack.
What we need is your help getting to Svartalfheim so we can try and rescue Tyr.
To Tyr. Alive? I mean, that's... What?
It's okay. I told him everything.
Everything?
You aided my son in disobeying me.
No, I kept an eye on him. On your behalf. Nothing risky. Everything very safe. Somebody else speak.
What's important right now is that we try and open up travel between realms again. You said you know a way?
Yes, I do. It's just a lot of mud.
And why haven't you opened the way already, man?
Well, to be frank, there was something
There's
we
a lot
needed
of
your
mud.
help with.
Oh! The Holder brothers finally require the services of the smartest man alive.
That's it precisely.
Not so fast. How'd that get in here? When the hell is it anyway?
That is my son.
Well, what in all yarns me that happened to him? He's too damn tall now. It looks like that. I blame you. Now, come on then. Let's get him something that fits at least.
He's just getting older, you dark prat. Didn't you ever have an awkward phase in your youth?
Hey,
I suppose what's done is...
I think with the Steam Deck, you are
But
very,
you put
very
your foot
limited
down from now on if you
by the resolution available
He's
to
trying,
you.
Believe me.
If I turn it up to 1280 by 720, then the frame rate just absolutely tanks. So if I turn off the AMD FSR, it just tanks. So there's no real way that you can
Wouldn't you
really do
rather I
that,
just whip you up a new one?
which is a shame.
It is important to me.
But again, it's the Steam Deck. You're limited by hardware, right?
See what I can do.
But the Steam Deck is still an amazing piece of software. Amazing piece of software. Amazing piece of hardware. I'm not sure if you're going to be on the on what they're calling one of the more powerful devices, like the ROG Ally, whether it's going to be able to perform a little bit better to push that resolution a little bit further on something like God of War. But for the most part, the Steam Deck is, yeah, I mean, they've absolutely smashed it.
I only got materials to make one of these in the here and now. You bring me more resources,
What shield
we'll see what
we're going
we
for?
can
Big
do.
one? That's cool. High risk, high reward parries. I like that.
If the kid's gonna insist on getting taller, best make a habit of swinging in for new duds.
Fortified husk. Is there an easy way to see what's equipped? Oh, the E. Stupid idiot. Fortified husk arm guards. So what's the difference in... What's the difference? Oh, unless they're... I don't know what the difference between these different things are. Oh, they're the stats, are they? Oh, okay, so that's 5 strength. Whatever the... Oh, I see. Top left. Oh, that's annoying. Why can't they just list them all? Why can't they just list them all at once? Let's have that. And then that gives us all 3 pieces of armor. Let's upgrade that. That'll do. And we're done.
Found some items you left behind, tossed them in the chest. What would you do without them?
What would you do with
I'm
that?
gonna go look around. Check out my room. Tell Sindri when you're ready.
Thank you.
The path, talk to Sindri. So now we've got a little bit more lighting going on, especially over in this corner.
This place
I
is
mean,
great.
the actual frame rate is
Built it all
still
yourself?
holding.
You know it.
The frame rate is holding in its 50s. Whoa. What are all these things? Oh, I've just spent time upgrading my armor, and there's got some nice snow armor going on. Old snow gauntlets. Oh. Oh, so your armor doesn't do anything. It's just there to look good. Okay, fair enough. Okay, so I think I'm going to end the live stream there. Thank you so much for the people tuning in and to the people that have tuned in over the time we have been live. As I say, it's not the longest live stream. We just wanted to run through the graphical settings. And just a reminder, what I am running on my Steam Deck here is A full screen display mode, 848 by 472 resolution, but that is because of the AMD FSR 3.1. Frame gen off, aspect ratio, frame rate off, VSync off. The quality at quality, or the FSR scaling at quality. Custom preset, textures and models at high, anisotropic filter and lighting at medium, shadows and reflections at low, atmospherics at medium, ambient occlusion at low, and tessellation at medium. Film grain off, motion blur off. So there you go. And as a reminder, on the Steam Deck performance menu, I have not got anything switched on. And I have only got the frame rate limit at 60 because there's no point in turning that off, but I can do because it doesn't ever go over 60. or I've not managed to get it over 60 without absolutely destroying the graphics anyway. Let's have a quick look out the window before we go.
Hey, come see.
Hopefully it doesn't trigger a
Finding everything all right, I
cutscene.
hope?
Oh, there's not much to look at. I thought it was going to be a nice scenery that we could have rendered, but apparently not. Anyway, thank you very much for tuning in, everyone, and we will see you very soon. Like and subscribe, leave a comment down below on your settings and what you are currently using on this game. But have a good one, everyone.